Welcome to the Clemson Dubcast, Wednesday, July 20th. Football season is upon us, I guess unofficially, with the start of talking season, which precedes August camp season, which precedes the real season. Dabo Swinney and a few players currently in Charlotte going through the ACC football kickoff media extravaganza. Yesterday, we were able to visit with every assistant coach in Dabo Swinney, and that's the point of this podcast. Plenty of coverage of that and news and nuggets from the football program and recruiting and beyond at TigerIllustrated.com. My good friends Blake Smith and Brooke Archenhold have been part of the podcast since the beginning, way back in August of 2018. They have an accomplished team of personal injury attorneys at Parham, Smith, and Archenhold based in Greenville. They are Clemson people, and their skillful attorneys have decades of experience in complicated litigation matters, taking a special interest in medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, and neglect, car accident cases that have left the individuals involved in serious trouble. For a free consultation at Parham, Smith, and Archenhold, call 864-990-4581 or online at parhamlaw.com. That's PARHAM law.com. When you're ready for a complete renovation in your home or business, open the door to more with Harris Home and Harris Commercial. Their local experienced team will totally transform any room space, from beautiful floor coverings to construction to finished details. Harris handles every step of your renovation process, whether it's a kitchen or living room or an industrial or educational setting, like some of the positively stunning work they've done at Clemson University. Go to discoverharris.com and experience a total renovation transformation from Harris Home and Harris Commercial. Solero Communications, formerly known as Tandem Payment, is a full-service integrated electronic payments provider powered by leading-edge technology. Solero provides a wide array of merchant solutions, simplified payments. They make onboarding, taking payments, maintaining risk management and compliance, and getting support quick and easy. At Solero, they're all about helping you achieve sustainable growth as a business. Taking payments isn't the only thing your business needs. With Solero's solutions, you can manage inventory, sell products and services via social media, schedule staff, track sales, get reports, and much, much more. Find out more about Solero at solerocommerce.com. That's CELERO commerce.com. Okay, going to present the raw and uncut audio from the press conference yesterday. First, CJ Spiller, followed by Brandon Streeter, and then rounding it out with, wow, what a presence this guy is. Nick Eason, he just sort of changes every room that he's in, and I think you'll be able to hear that in our closing segment with him. All right, here we go. Enjoy.
I can read y'all. Oh, they made y'all get name tags on. Well, I've known Larry forever, so I know him.
DJ, how do you feel about your room this year? You got to feel a little bit better.
Oh, I feel great. Them guys, I was able to have a strong year last year. I was able to battle through a lot of stuff, from injuries and all that standpoint. And but at the end of the year, they was able to put it all together and put their best footing forward, I guess you could say, in the bowl game. And, so it's a lot to build on. It's a lot to learn from. So them guys, I gave them a little assignment to do at the end of the year once they was able to kind of get some rest, recovery, reset, and they actually, once they got back into it, before we started spring ball, they had kind of some stuff that I advised them that they probably should do as a player to try to help their game.
You got a couple guys who were there this spring, coming back from injuries.
Yeah, everybody's back healthy. Everybody's ready to rock and roll. So, those guys are excited that I had a very strong summer. So I think they kind of just excited just to get back started. It's an exciting time of the year right now because football is right around the corner. So, they just trying to finish this strength and conditioning on a high note. Have a few days to kind of reset, and then it's time to rock and roll. And I'm excited to get on the grass with them and kind of see the hard work that they've been putting in.
CJ, after the first year with this group, what did you go into this first year last year to accomplish with the group, and what at the end of the year, the three of them combined, what did they do to impress you and meet your goal?
That's a great question. I really just wanted to accomplish trust, honestly. There wasn't huge high expectations of such a young group, but I wanted them to be confident in their ability. I wanted them to know that they can play on this level. But the biggest thing for me was just getting that trust because I didn't recruit any of those guys in the room. Obviously, I followed their careers in high school and obviously the recruiting process, but I didn't have a chance to sit down in their living rooms and try to recruit them. So going into it, I just wanted to just build that trust with them. And it was a two-way street, and it took some time. And I think as the season went on, it got better and better. And I think now we're in a good spot from a trust factor. And those guys understand that, I'm here to help them to be better as a young man, and then as a football player. So I think if we continue to build on that, I think we'll be in a good spot.
CJ, going into your second year as running backs coach, what's the difference last year being first time and this coming season? What's the difference?
Well, the biggest difference is that, we got a different offensive coordinator. So that's going to be, adjustment. But, we had a strong relationship or a strong building, a bond for the bowl game. So we kind of got that familiar. And then really just understanding the offense a whole lot better. Last year it was, trying to just learn the offense and, get the terminology down, understand the blocking scheme, understanding what people are doing, understanding the concepts, because it was new. It was different from, what I was accustomed to playing in and being around. So this year it's a lot more familiarity with just the terminology.
Coach, what did you learn about yourself during last year?
What I learned about myself, really just trusting my instincts, honestly. I really had to rely on that and really just trying to do it my way, I guess you can say. And, sometimes once you get into, coaching, what I learned early is that you can kind of try to start doing it other people's way and try to mimic what they was doing, and it kind of get you off who you really are and not being authentic. So that took probably about, 2 or 3 weeks for me to adjust from that. And then once I did that and realized, hey, man, I can just only do it my way. I can only be who I am. I can't be somebody else, I guess you can say. Once I did that, then I kind of settled in and really just picked up.
Coach Elliott just kind of let you go, right? You appreciated that?
Yeah, I did. And I think that was huge because he really wanted me to, get my feet wet and really understand it. But at the same time, he was great if I ever had a question or if I didn't understand something. He was always a great listening ear and always very helpful for that. And really, he made that transition very smooth for me, and he built a lot of confidence in me and myself by just letting me have the room for myself instead of being together as the initial plan was to be.
Did you even know what your way was going into Nick last year?
Well, I knew that that I wasn't going to be a yeller because I didn't like that as a player. I thought coaches that done all the yelling, they just done that for whatever reasons, for attention or whatever the case may be. But, so I knew going into it that I wasn't going to be a big yeller, but I knew how to get my point across. But there was still a lot that I didn't know going into it just because it was new. It was first time, and so it was totally different than a player. So that's where a veteran staff like Coach Elliott, like Coach Robert Caldwell, like Coach Street, and Grisham, who had already been through the process, those guys came in and were very helpful to make that transition smooth.
You spoke about veteran coaches. What was it like to platoon those guys and to get them used to the platooning and then dealing with the injuries that you did, preparing the other guys to pick up the slack?
Yeah, it was different. Anytime you have injuries in your room, it definitely hampered, but that also allows somebody else to pick up their game and to step up and showcase what they can do. It sucked that, some of your best players, get injured because I ain't going to say at a disadvantage, but you ain't at your full arsenal, I guess you can say. But those guys fought through it, and, we always talk about it. Well, I always stress to those guys anyway, is that you always want to play away from being the starter. So you better prepare like you're the starter because, at the end of the day, they're not going to cancel the game. They're still going to kick it off, and you got to be ready to go out there and execute. And for us in our room is that the standard doesn't change no matter who's back there in the backfield. It still remains the same. So when Shipley went down, they gave Kobe opportunity, and then when he got nicked up, they gave my man Phil opportunity. And those guys, they was prepared for it, and they went out there and they showcased what they could do.
What do you see from Keith this year?
Keith.
Such a talented group of players.
I think he's great for our room. He comes in, wide open, eager to learn, very hungry. I think he's going to add some competition. This is a kid that's self-motivated, so it doesn't take a lot to motivate him. So I'm excited to get to work with him, and he's a great kid off the field, so that makes the fit even better in our room. And he's coming in there asking all the right questions. He's want to know from those older guys, which only been in the system. With Kobe's the oldest in there now. With Phil and Will, they only been in 2 years, but he's asking all the right questions. And those guys doing a great job of taking him up under their wing. And as a coach, you kind of sit back and try to watch that stuff, because I know as a player, I know how it was coming in as a freshman. Who's going to take who up under the wing and kind of show them a way, because it's new. They're away from home for the first time. They having to go through strength training, having to adjust to college life. So you want to have somebody veteran that's going to take you up under their wing and kind of show you the way to try to make that transition as smooth as possible.
Will came in here last year and he was already one of the leaders.
Yeah.
What do you see different this year leadership-wise?
Will just picking up where he left off, honestly. He's very vocal. He came in with that. This is a kid that knows what he want to do in life, and he has his goals that he want to accomplish, and he doesn't get distracted from those. So, but at the same time, he does a great job of elevating his teammates' play. And that's what you want as a player. Can you elevate everybody else's play up to where your play is? And he does a great job of doing that. If you ever had a chance to watch him run rim sprints, I don't think he'd have lost one yet. He's always in the front. The kid has a very natural leadership skill.
One of the biggest areas that you have to train a high school running back in college is pass pro. And during spring game, Malcolm was picking up blitz packages and giving those guys a hard time. How easy was it for him to pick that up? Was that something you guys worked on over the spring? Yeah,
we just talked about it. The biggest thing is just knowing the identification. If you know who you're blocking, and then that make the job easy. But then just knowing, what type of rusher are the guy. That's the second biggest part of it is, is this guy a bull rusher? Is he a jump around guy? So if you know that before the guy blitzes, then you can kind of have your game plan in your hand to be able to counter what he's doing. So we did a good job in the spring trying to study in guys of what type of rusher they were, and then just understanding where the blitz was coming from. And I think he did a great job of learning that.
Coach, with Shipley and Bates, how are they 100%? Can you take us through what they've been through?
I don't want to get into that percentage. They'll be ready for fall camp. I just know they'll be ready.
Still with him really for 7 years because we got a both game.
Can you see their roles? You've got 3 good guys. How do you, in your mind, how are you dividing that up?
Me and the coaches, we do a great job of keeping count of all the reps. So I have a chart which I know how many reps they take each practice, and then over the time I kind of look at it and kind of see what the numbers are. If I feel like Shipley took a buttload, then I can kind of be able to let Colby or Marfa Man take some of the share off that. So I just have a system that that Coach Elliott provided for me that I kind of just go by, and that's kind of how I just keep the reps of that. But like you said, it's 3 great guys, and there's only one of us can run out there, and all those guys, they understand that. So it's a great healthy competition in there, and all those guys prepare as if they are the one that's going to run out there first.
With Brandon running the offense now,
Excuse me.
What do you think we're going to see difference in the running game?
To be determined. I can't be giving y'all the juice. Nah, the biggest thing is just everybody just getting on the same page. I think, obviously we know that, running the football is going to pay dividends, as you get later in the season. So, you want to try to establish that early. And, I think Coach Streety, he understands that this is not his first rodeo of calling plays. So, we had a great spring chemistry, just trying to get on the same page with everybody, making sure that we all speaking the same language. I think if we get that part right, then it make the transition smooth. But we're still gonna run the football. Like we said, we got 3 potential first or second rounders in the running back room that can go out and perform at a high level.
yesterday Will got named to the Maxwell Award.
He did?
And something you know about dealing with those kinds of awards and what to expect. How you tell him to handle all that notoriety needs to get this year just being named that test?
How I tell him to handle that stuff? That's just somebody's opinion. You still have to go out and put in the hard work. The good thing about Shipley is he understands that. I don't think he's a kid that kind of get caught up into that outside stuff. What list he on, what list he's not, and and that's where I come into play. I tell all those guys if you put in the hard work right now, and then once the season starts, hey, you'll be right where you're supposed to be. But if you get caught up right now into if you're on the Doak Walker list or the Maxwell list and all these other lists, then you're getting distracted from the main goal, and that's to have a strong summer in your strength and your conditioning. So, he has a level head. He understands it, and, that just goes to credit to what type of player he is. Those people think that he's one of the best ones in the country, but he still has to go out there and perform at a high level, which I know he will. But that's great for him. That's awesome. I'm happy for him. Because I know what type of guy he is, so I'm happy that they decide to recognize it.
The high school camp to have your guys out there running drills and somebody rules take charge of that whole thing. What was that like watching those guys do that?
It's just validation of that. Those guys understand the drills that we do in our room, and that they can go out and teach it. And then it also helps me because now I'm able to kind of just float around and see different high schoolers instead of just staying at one station. That I trust those guys, and then it just goes, like you said, it goes back to the trust factor. I know that when they talking about the drill, that they're not going to just be out there just talking about it just to try to go through the motions, that they actually know what they're talking about. They want these kids, they want those high schoolers to get better, and they're going to push them. So it was great to see. All those guys did a great job. Anytime they can come out there and help, during that time of the year, it's always awesome for us.
That knowledge they brought out there is something they picked up from you. Does that validate you a little bit for what you taught them to watch them go out there and just remember what you do?
Yeah, well, just let me know that they listening. That's for one. But as far as validation, it just I know those guys gets it, but it's just great to know that they actually paying attention. And like I always say, you never know if they're truly listening until you get into those type of settings. So to see that they actually listen and paying attention to the drills, that's huge.
CJ the football coach versus CJ the dad. Is the little one following in dad's footsteps?
The little one right now, man, you know what? He gonna have a good shot. He already done picked up a couple offers. So he already beat Dad in that category. So we're gonna see if those committable offers, in about 18 years. But now he's doing great. It's great to be back in that feeling again. It's been 16 years. My daughter's 16, so it's been a long time since I had to change some diapers. And, but he's starting to come into his own personality. He's kicking his feet. And then Dad, he making sure that he's keeping that ball high and tight. So we're working through the process of trying to get him to turn over all the way, and hopefully in a couple months we'll be crawling. And then once we start walking, we'll be running. So I'm already preparing him for the training that lies ahead for him. Because I'm going to ask him, do you want Dad the trainer? Do you want Coach the trainer? Or do you want the player, the thriller? Because it's different now. It's a difference between those three people. So it's going to be very interesting to see which one he picked. If he chooses the player, then I'll be older, but I'll still be ready to show him the ropes.
Still got it.
I still got it.
What did you learn from a man in spring when it was all him?
I learned a lot. He was very prepared, and he took advantage of the opportunity. And also, the thing about Phil is that, I'm pretty sure y'all guys have had some encounter with him, that he doesn't talk much, but this spring he was very vocal from a leadership standpoint. And, and I told him, you the alpha dog in here. These young guys, they're going to follow your lead. So and he took that challenge and he ran with it, and he was very vocal, very demanding of the standard that's set in our room, and those young guys, they followed that. So I was very pleased with that, and I think he kind of just really set the foundation for his summer, because I mean, if y'all haven't seen him, he looks great. He's in a great spot. I mean, he's poised to have a big year, and so we just got to continue to build on that. But just the vocal standpoint was what I really learned, because, like I said, he doesn't say a ton, but I think this spring gave him opportunity to kind of really open up and really, I guess, bring his personality out, and he done a great job with that.
Things really changed for him fast last year. He went from probably being a red shirt to, as you say, the alpha dog of spring.
Yeah, it did. And honestly, when you really think about Phil, it was just, the situation with so many guys in there. But I just knew in my heart of hearts that, that this is a guy that can help us. I had to see his high school tape. Then I had a chance to spend some time with him and see him on the practice field. I just knew that, eventually he was going to be able to help us. I didn't know when that was going to come. And and the thing about Phil is that he's very understanding. He's big in his faith, so he didn't get down on himself. And if he did a great job of just coming and talking, and was able to talk through stuff. But I was very pleased for how he handled everything that took place.
CJ, what's the importance of some depth? And you've got some depth in
it's always important to have depth because when you play this game, it's a violent game. And, just like I said earlier, you're always one player away from being a starter. And you want to make sure that you have, depth at your position. And not only depth, but you want to make sure that these guys are prepared. Because it's one thing to have depth, but if your guys are not prepared, then it means nothing. So, we just try to do a good job in our room, making sure that we're prepared. So when our number is called, that we're able to go out there and play at a high level and there's not a drop-off.
doing this now, this kind of chapter? What are some of the ways you're better this year?
I just really this summer I really just spent some time just reflecting on ways I can be better, ways I can help my guys be better. That was going out, talking to other running back coaches, seeing how they do drills, see how they ran their meetings, how they handle their rotation. That's what I did. I think that's what you have to do as a coach. Is you have to go out and seek advice from other people that have done it a long time. And for me, I got some great NFL coaches that I was able to play up under that was very helpful, giving me some insight of how to handle certain situations and giving me drills that I think would be beneficial because when it comes to drills, it's just you want to see your drills translate over to the game field. So I don't want to just be out there just doing backyard drill just to look good on Instagram. I want stuff that's going to translate over to the game field. So I was able to do that and then really just continue to just be who I am. That's the only way that I know I can be successful is being who I am and not trying to be someone else. But at the same time, taking advice from other veteran coaches that's been in this league for a long time.
Back onto that depth, you said earlier, the depth was kind of the forced on you last year due to injuries. Those guys just go out there and take snaps. Now you got the luxury of having all three of those guys coached up. Now you can be able to manage their snaps better. Yeah,
that's what we're just talking about. Is just I do a great job. I have a rep chart, I guess you can call it. And I track all their reps that they do each day, so I kind of know how many reps each guy gets each practice. And if I feel like one guy is getting more than the other, I know how to tailor that. So I think that's the biggest thing that's been very helpful. That's kind of something that I done last year, so I can be able to manage their load because especially once we get through the fall camp and get to the season, we want those guys to be as fresh as possible come Saturday. So I just try to do a good job of just managing them, and then at the same time I let them know that hey, when it's time to go, it's time to go. And then hey, if I decide to you're not going to take a big load today, that doesn't mean that you're getting an off day. It just means you're not going to take as many reps, but you still need to be in tune, mentally. And then when it is your time to go, you need to rock and roll. And that's just something that I learned from my running back coach, Tyrone Reetley. He done that when I was in Buffalo. It was some days that I had a big load, and then there was some days that he tailored it back, and then he talked to me about, hey, it's not an off day. It's still, you're getting your mental reps. I'm still put you in there. But then when it's time to go, I need you to go. So that's just one of those things I kind of just took from him and kind of just put in our room.
Also, to that, in the year you guys went through 2-pack sales. Was that something you guys just had to break out and just learn it and put it in there? Or was it something you guys already had to buy it back earlier in the year?
I think it's something that was already, in our offense, before I even got here, and then, we always practice, that stuff because now, like you say, you got, 3 great guys in there, so you want to try to find a way to utilize them and take advantage of them, and, we had been, practicing that stuff, and then we just felt like that particular game was the right time to pull it out and showcase it, and, those guys did a great job of executing.
CJ, what kind of head coach do you think Tony Elliott will be, just having worked with him?
I couldn't hear you.
What kind of head coach do you think Tony Elliott will be?
What type of head coach I think Coach Elliott is going to be? I think he's going to do a great job. I mean, just his personality, then just the type of man that he is. He fits that Virginia mold perfectly. And I'm pretty sure all those kids got bought into what he's saying. So I'm excited to just, watch from afar, how his team goes out and play. But I think he's going to do a great job up there of leading them. he does a great job of getting his message across, very crystal clear. And then the thing with Coach Elliott, you know where you stand with him. There's no guessing. So I'm excited for him. I think he's going to have it's a great opportunity for him. I think he's poised to have a great year.
How much is your experience from your playing days when you had Reggie, you, and James on the same team and trying to use 3 backs at the same time and get them all up touches?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely take me back to those days. And then I just try to, just talk to those guys about just taking advantage of the opportunity. We know, we're different than the receivers where they can run 2 or 3 guys out there where we can only run 1. And then the biggest thing that I talk to them about, honestly, is just the jealousy. That's one thing that me, James, and Reggie, we did not allow creep up in our room, because if jealousy creep into our room, then it's going to be a long year. It's going to be a frustrating year for everybody. So they just got to have a great appreciation for each and every person's role in their play. And then just understand that everybody brings something totally different, to the table. And I think that's where, me, James, and Reggie did a great job of understanding our playing style was totally different than each other. We always rooted for each other. It didn't matter who got the credit. If one scored, we felt like everybody scored, because that's how it should be. Those guys, they understand that. And, I mean, you got, Shipley and Marfa, they roommates. So, I mean, if you see one, you're pretty sure the other one's going to be somewhere very close just because of the bond that they got. And then the same thing with Kobe. I mean, those guys, they follow his lead. He's the OG, I guess you can say, in the room. So they follow in his lead, and he's doing a great job of communicating and being vocal and taking that, that bull by the horns and running with it. And so I'm excited to see how they continue to grow as a group and kind of sit back and watch their chemistry.
Hey, CJ, when you are out there competing these days, how much of the talk from families, from family members, from players is about NIL and what's going to happen for them?
It's not about that. It's about, I used to watch you play when I was in high. I used to watch you play,
I watched you play too.
Yeah, so it's really not a ton to talk about NIL stuff, honestly. It's really just about these kids want to know, how can you help them? How will they fit into your system? What type of person are you? What type of coach are you? And stuff like that. So to me, I know I didn't get any NIL questions when I was out there. It was just more about me just trying to promote, who I was as a person. Because everybody knew who I was as a player, and it just gave me an opportunity to really sit down and really explain who I was as a person, because everybody don't know that. They just only does seen, what they seen on Saturdays on the game field. So that's kind of how I went about the spring.
Shipley caught the ball really well in the high last year.
Yep.
Has there been something specifically you targeted for him to kind of work on that, or?
Well, I mean, really the biggest way to help with that is just getting on the jug machine, and that's kind of what my advice for him is, hey, man, well, really all of my guys in there, they need to be on the jug machine every day, honestly, catching at least 20 to 30 balls. And, that's something that, that I got from the legendary Ward Dunn that helped me with my catching ability. And so it's something that I'm just trying to pass along to my guys. And then really the biggest thing when guys really drop balls, it has a lot to do with them taking their eyes off the ball, looking upfield first, and really just try to tell them to just, catch the ball, see it all the way through, and then just go from there. So I don't have any worries about, Shipley catching the ball. I think he can catch the ball very well. I think you just continue to build on it.
What about Coach Burns and guys like that you play with, other guys in high school, they also have influence on you?
Oh yeah, I mean all my running back coaches that I ever had the encounter with that had some type of influence, and I took something away. You know, Coach Burns, you know, he was a coach that, you know, he always had his guys back. You know, he didn't allow, I guess you can say, other coaches to try to run his room. You know, so that's something that, you know, that I took from him, and you know, and the thing that he always showed us that he cared. You know, and that showed through the way that, you know, we had conversations in our room, and it wasn't always about football. You know, a lot of conversation was about life. Yeah, so and that's what I liked about him. You know, and he is what he is. You know, you didn't have to guess what type of player, coach or person Coach Burns was. You knew he stood with him. You know, so he knew how to, you know, get the best out of us, and you know, and then at the same time we trusted him because he had done it for a long time, and then he knew how to rally us, to get us to go out and play hard.
All right, thank you, CJ. Coach Streeter will be coming to this middle station.
Thank y'all, guys.
Yeah, you know, it was a great opportunity for me to get back calling plays. You know, I did that for 6 years or so in my past, so it was good to get back doing that first and foremost. And then just, you know, getting this new role, a new title, been an awesome opportunity. And obviously it starts with, you know, getting the offensive staff gelling and getting us in the same room and really just getting on the same page. And it's been a great process. It really has. You know, obviously Coach Swinney has done a great job of putting the staff together. He always has. And so what we did this spring is we went to work. And when you're working with great people, smart, great people, I mean, we're in a great spot right now. We're working together well. We're all on the same page, like I said, and I think the spring was really good for us to get that done. And then along those same lines, just being able to, you know, talk through a lot of things about our offense, what we needed to do different, what we needed to keep, and, you know, obviously in the end, it's all about overall execution, and so that's what we're striving to do, and that's what we're working on right now.
What about communication?
Yeah.
You got JP down to your bench in that practice?
Well, no. So it'll be Kyle Richardson will be helping with that down on the field, and then, you know, obviously I'll be in the box calling the plays. I just feel like I can take some of the emotions out of the game and just be able to really focus and lock in up there. Still being able to phone call. We'll have a phone, or I can get on a headset with the quarterbacks after every series. So really nothing will change as far as that, other than I just won't be there in front of them. So the communication will be really good. And like we did the same thing in the bowl game, and I've talked about that throughout the spring as well. So it should be a smooth process.
Can you describe the steps forward that DJ has taken?
Yeah, he's definitely taken some really, really good steps. You know, obviously he learned a lot of lessons last year. I think a lot of us did. Everybody in the whole program learned a lot of lessons. And I think really where we are as a team, we're going to apply those lessons, and it's going to be a lot of fun this year. And it's going to be fun to watch these guys produce, you know, after learning all these lessons. And he's one of those guys that learned a lot last year. And so he has really committed, number one, to getting his body in better shape. And he has lost anywhere from 30 to 35 pounds. And he is back healthy. He feels great. His knee is totally healthy. And so he's moving around much better, which has given him a lot more confidence each and every day. And so, and then his mind, mentally, he's in a really good spot. He had a great spring. And I'm really proud of where he is, battling through some of the stuff he went through last year, and just overcoming that. And that's part of life. And he's learning those lessons, and he's doing a great job right now.
This time last year, DJ knew he was going to be the guy quarterback. This year he has some competition, or more competition maybe. How have you seen that kind of change his mentality? Has that given him more of a sense of urgency?
Yeah, I definitely think it has. Anytime you have competition, you're going to have more of a sense of urgency to get better. And, you know, it started this spring. I mean, he had a really good spring, and he got better. And that was very obvious to me. And that helps when you got some guys that come in and push you. And so there's been some guys that have come into the program that have been able to do that, which has helped everybody. And so I'm just proud of where he is as far as taking on that challenge, not just learning from the mistakes he had last year, but building on some of the confidence that he had last year from overcoming some stuff, and then also, competing each day. And he, like I said, had a great spring. He's in a great spot right now, so I feel really good where he is. Yeah, I felt great after the spring with Cade. He, as a quarterback, when you come in the spring, your first spring as a mid-year, still supposed to be in high school. That's a hard jump. There's a lot to absorb. There's a lot of new things going on. You're trying to get acclimated to school, all those things. But we threw him in the fire quick. We wanted to get him as many reps as possible, just so that he could gain that experience and really learn from his mistakes. And that's what he did. He did a great job of, once he made a mistake, just learn from it and not making the same mistake again. And so he got better and better each and every day. Very talented player. Going to be a very, very good leader on our team. Already is a good leader on our team. And so the future is bright for him for sure, and he'll just continue to get better. And then I challenged him after spring ball to really reabsorb everything, because in my past I've seen a lot of jump and growth from the spring practice until preseason camp, because now they get a chance to sit back, take a deep breath, and really absorb it, reabsorb it, regurgitate it from the spring, watch more film, go out there this summer and do all the skills and drills practices that they do. So he's progressing along very, very well.
You did everyone in the program learning a lot of valuable lessons last year. What would you say is the most important one you personally learned?
Yeah, I would say, number one is that we're all in this together. We're all in this together. And there was, everybody just kind of rallied around each other. Nobody pointed fingers, whether it was the players or the coaches, and we just kind of rallied the troops, and we were on a mission each and every week. And that's the beauty of college football too, is every week you get to start over and you have a new test that next Saturday. And so that's what we did. We just put our heads down and did the best we possibly could. And when you're working with great people and high character people that care about each other, usually good things happen. And so we were blessed to come out with that 10-win season and win 6 in a row at the end. And a lot of teams wish they could have been in our shoes.
Coach should have a lot more continuity on the offensive line than you had last year. How much does getting a guy like J Mac back mean for your offensive line?
Oh, that's a big shot in the arm. I'm telling you, with this guy's a unbelievable leader for our team, unbelievable worker. He brings guys along with him wherever he goes, and that's why he's such a good leader. He's got the most votes by anybody on our offense as far as, just leadership role stuff and being committed. And so he's not just a talented player that could play multiple positions. He could play anywhere on the offensive line. And so that's a blessing. And he's showing his younger teammates that by learning other positions and by having a knowledge and a big picture knowledge of this offense is so critical. And so he's a huge asset to this program.
Cade commands the room wherever he is. He just kind of his presence, he makes his presence known. What has he brought to the quarterback room?
Yeah, he's brought a great dynamic to the quarterback room. I'm so proud of the whole room. Ever since I've been here, I've been fortunate to have a great room. There's been high character guys each and every year, which makes it a lot of fun for me and a lot of fun for the guys. And I in the first meeting that we have every year, we talk about, hey, you're supposed to go try beating him out. And then you're supposed to beat him out. We all know everybody's trying to get to that starting job. And so let's do a good job of encouraging each other and coaching each other up and having fun with it. Because when there's negative vibes in the room, it's just going to make your performance drop or dip. And so we don't want that. And so our guys have always done an awesome job. And Cade did the same thing. He was great on how he has approached the other quarterbacks and how he is in the room. But like you said, he brings a great energy, a great personality, and he's a natural leader, like you said. I mean, he really brightens the room up right away when he walks in, and so we're really excited about having him. I know everybody's great in our room as far as getting along and just getting in the room together and just kind of hashing it out. It's been a lot of fun.
If you could use a word or a phrase to describe the type of talent that Cade has, that the fans are going to get used to, what kind of word or phrase?
Yeah, I would say he's a poised kid, very athletic, and really just confidence. He's got a confidence about his ability and his ability to take charge of an offense. That's what he does, and he finds a way to get it done. I mean, I think a lot of people compare him to the skill sets that Deshaun had, and there are definitely some similarities there. So I feel like he's a guy that can make all the throws and yet still get you out of a jam because he's so athletic. And so I'm just excited to watch him this preseason camp and see how he's progressed.
Coach, how has Cade's presence affected DJ?
Well, I think anytime you have another guy that is a very talented player that can create some competition, it just makes you better. And so DJ has definitely accepted Cade in a lot of different ways. They've become close and good friends, and it just has pushed DJ even more, and it's challenged him. And that's what it should do. That's what competition is all about. And so DJ and Cade get along great, like I said, and it's been fun to watch them so far.
Whether DJ's faced adversity or criticism from the outside like he did last year, how did he handle that? How did you see that going through the season?
Yeah, well, I think I really think he handled it very well as far as, well, he did nothing but take responsibility. He did nothing. He never pointed fingers. He never was, was a distraction at all. And he owned up to everything. And it wasn't all his fault. That's what we got to keep telling him, because that's the truth. But that's the position that he signed up for. So we're ready to accept that, and he's ready to accept that, and he knows that that's part of the job. But I really believe that he just continued to battle. Was it hard for him? Yes, there's no doubt. But I do think that as the year went on, he learned how to handle that, and he got more and more confident as the year went on. And so it was good to see him push through a lot of adversity, and he grew a lot.
Go through a lot, right? I mean, those two games he started for Lawrence, everybody was thinking, we got another Lawrence, and then all of a sudden it just wasn't quite there.
Yeah. Well, there's a variety of reasons, but one being, hey, he wasn't the starter whenever he took over for Trevor because of those two games. Trevor, I think, had COVID those 2 weeks, and so there wasn't that pressure. He was the backup guy, that came in and could be the hero, so he didn't have that pressure for however long before the season of being known as the starter and now having to follow Trevor Lawrence and all those things. So he had to battle through some of those things. And, I think, like I said, in the end, he just learned a lot of lessons and got better and better.
How much of the competition that is pushed by the guys coming in? What about the leadership skills? Guys like Shipley coming last year, the freshman, inserts himself as a team leader. Yep. Kate's got that natural leadership ability as well. Yep. Does that push DJ to be a better leader? Absolutely,
100%. And you named him. Will Shipley's been an incredible leader for this team. When he first got here, we knew that was going to happen. I mean, he is very demanding and holds guys accountable, and that's what you want. That's what you want. You want guys that can really, really hold the team accountable, so the coaches aren't always having to do that. And so Shipley's definitely one of those guys, and I could name a bunch of them, but he's definitely the leader of the pack.
Expanding upon these running backs, how much of a benefit is it to have a stable of horses that you can throw?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, we're as deep at that position since I've been here. I mean, this is as good of a group as I've seen since I've been here for the last 7 or 8 years, and as a whole collective unit. You got Will Shipley, who we saw, what he can do last year, and just the toughness that he brings to the table. He's super smart. He learns it fast. He can absorb it, and he can do everything from catching the ball out of the backfield to running inside the tackles, running outside the tackles. He's just a guy that has a lot of grit, and guys rally around him a lot. And then Kobe Pace and Phil Maffa have proven themselves last year as well to do a lot of good things. And so just for me, being super confident in all three of those guys, we're excited about the future because they're going to help us a ton this year.
Richard was saying terminology-wise, install-wise, some things had to be changed with some, Clemson family, ex-Clemson family now kind of moving on to places. What was that process like and kind of installing this spring?
Yeah, as an offensive staff, we just had to do a good job of picking and choosing what we wanted to keep in the offense and what we wanted to change in the offense and what we wanted to tweak in the offense. And there's a lot of those changes that went about throughout the spring, and terminology is one of them. I mean, we needed to change our terminology and be able to start fresh. I think that's good for our players to start fresh after a while. And so, obviously we sold that to our players, and they did a great job of absorbing everything this spring and continue it on throughout the summer. And so it was a really good process, and it went smooth. And I'll tell you, when you really challenge guys to, absorb some stuff, they did a great job of really just taking one day at a time and getting better with it. And so I think by the time we get to preseason camp, it's going to be even more cleaner, and these guys are going to be even more comfortable going out there.
And I know y'all can't be out there during the summer, but just some of the feedback you've heard on Cade and Antonio.
Yeah, I mean, the guys are saying that everybody's working hard. I mean, number one, they're putting in the extra work, and that's really, really good to hear. Doesn't surprise us because that's who our team was all last year as well. They never stopped working, and so everybody's saying that the summer's going awesome, and they're working hard, and I really believe all those new guys that you mentioned are doing great just for that reason of being able to be here for Cade, being able to be here for the spring, and then going through it again this summer is helping him just having more and more confidence. And Antonio Williams is doing great out there too, and just he's trying to soak it all in as well. So, I mean, that's just to name a few, but it seems to be going very, very well right now.
Brandon, is it any different being the guy in charge than and part of the staff?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have more responsibilities, and you have more things that you got to think about and prepare. Just coming in every day, just having a plan, not just going in and kind of waiting to hear and see what the plan is. It's, hey, you're in charge of the plan. So, yeah, there's definitely more responsibilities, but I love those responsibilities. I love having the opportunity to, be organized and having a good plan for the day, and just making sure myself and our guys and our team take one day at a time and just do the best we possibly can one day at a time.
Is there going to be some streeter flair to this offense, perhaps, that we haven't seen?
Yeah, I mean, I think whether it's the Clemson offense, but yeah, we're putting our minds together, and all of us in that room have done a great job of gelling together and putting a lot of different ideas on the table and, really hashing them out. And that's part of the process of having a new staff and just getting on the same page. And hey, what do we have? What type of players do we have? Who do we need to get the ball to? And then let's make it simple for them and make sure that they go have a good time.
I mean, it seems crazy because a couple of years ago, there was a certain group, a veteran group of offensive coaches in that room, and now all of a sudden you look around, and it's guys you've worked with before,
yeah.
But, it's still guys all in new roles.
Yeah, no doubt. There's a lot of new roles in that room, and to be honest, that makes it exciting. It really does, and it brings fresh and new ideas and new thoughts, and every single one of those guys in that room, whether it's the full-time staff or the support staff, are unbelievable high character guys that are going to influence our players each and every day in a positive way. And then number two, they're really smart guys. And so when you get that combination, it makes it a lot of fun.
kind of along those same lines, what does Coach Richardson bring not only to the on the field but also in game planning as the defensive game coordinator?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a ton of experience. You know, he's got a lot of experience at the college level and obviously successful at the high school level. So he's kind of gone for full circle and has a ton of experience that he can bring to the table with new ideas, fresh ideas, things that fit the offense that we want to be, and things that he's done in the past that can kind of piece together. And so he's done an awesome job. Just excited about him being a part of this thing.
Body type-wise, Dabo kind of drew parallels between when Deshaun arrived and Cade, and kind of said maybe they were upper 180s. The coach should get around 200 and start to
Yeah, Cade has done a good job. I think he was around 179 when he first got here, and he's somewhere in the mid to upper 180s right now. So he's put on some really good, solid weight. But like you said, it did, from what I understand, when Deshaun got here, I wasn't here for his freshman year, but it was very similar. He was in the 170s as well, and so similar body types for sure.
Would you say, I think you said the spring footwork and kind of one of the main things for a quarterback starting out. That's one of the main things.
That's one of the things we talked about in our exit meeting is, hey, whenever you know where everybody is and where they're going immediately, then you can start cleaning up some of your footwork and you can kind of hone in on that. But that first spring, you know, you're trying to figure it all out, and usually your footwork's a little bit sloppy. So that's something that he went and got detailed on this summer, and he's assured me that he's definitely improved in that area. And it was, I can remember like it was yesterday. It was the same thing with DJ, same thing with Trevor, same thing. I mean, all the guys go through that same process. And so it's just about, hey, having that confidence and knowing where everybody is, and then transitioning to, hey, that footwork, the little details of the footwork are very important.
In terms of wide receiver cores and tight ends towards the end of the season, obviously affected your game plan and how you guys were able to impact your games. What's it going to be like to have those guys back in full force this year? And what are some of the things that you guys might have picked up last year as far as maybe maintaining their health? There's something that they didn't do, and what was going on?
Yeah, you know, we just had some tough luck last year, you know, injury-wise. I mean, that's what it was. I mean, I know our strength staff and our training staff have looked into it many different ways and have tweaked things here and there, but hey, I'm so excited about, you know, a healthy team. You know, starting out this preseason, we're going to have everybody healthy, you know, pretty much except for maybe Adam Randall right now, and so we're really, really excited about those guys being healthy and having a full room ready to go. And that's something we hadn't had in a little while. Even in the spring, we had a lot of guys missing, you know, and so. And I think one of the lessons that we learned last year, one of the lessons the players have learned especially is, man, they got to be able to learn multiple positions. You know, it's very important to understand what the other guy's doing at receiver, because you never know what can happen. And it's that next man up mentality for sure, but also what else do you know at other positions? Because it just makes you more valuable whenever you can learn multiple positions. Same thing with the offensive line. You know, the more positions they know, the more valuable they're going to be. And so, but just going into camp, man, full steam ahead, excited about the health of our team.
Two guys last year got injured. First is Stellato, first day of practice. What do you think of him now? And also Will Taylor.
Yeah, just excited about both of those guys. I mean, those are two dynamic football players. You know, Will Taylor obviously finished the baseball season and played the last, 15 games or something, and recovered very quickly, and he's full speed, full go. I mean, he's electric with the ball in his hands. And so, and what an unbelievable kid. He's a perfect example of, man, he came into my room and met with us most of the year last year as a quarterback, and then now he's transitioning more to receiver, and just being an unselfish player and just excited about his knowledge of the game, where he is, and his electric game-playing ability. And then, who else did you mention? Stellato. Yeah, he had a really good spring, and then he tweaked his hamstring a little bit in the spring. So I think the big thing for him is just to stay healthy, because he had a really good – I think he was there the majority of the time in the spring, but still tweaked it and missed a handful of practices. And so the big thing for him, again, is that consistency, staying healthy. But he's an electric guy, too. He made a bunch of plays out there this spring that he can build off of confidence-wise.
How do you handle a guy like that mentally coming into his first year? He gets injured. He doesn't get the reps. He's contributing. How do you keep him involved?
Well, I think that's what our program is really all about is, man, putting our arms around him in every facet of our program, whether it's the coaches, the players, the support staff, the trainers, our Paul Journey program. I mean, that's what we're about, is when guys are going through some adversity in their life, especially at a young age, man, how can we help them? And so everybody just kind of chipped in and is able to pick a kid up, find some extra time to talk to them, make sure you have conversations and communication with them weekly and daily, and just making sure that they're doing okay and that this is part of life. And so I think we do a really good job of that for a lot of different examples.
Said and done about last year, all the adversity you guys did face. Do you think that becomes an attribute this year?
100%. Yep. We're excited about moving forward and taking those lessons that we learned and applying them to this year.
Having a receiver like Will, who has such great quarterback skills, how much fun does that make it as a play caller for you to try to work some trickery in there throughout the season?
No, it makes it fun. It makes you be more creative, and it gives you confidence that you can trust a guy because he's been in your room for a year and he knows what to expect and he knows what to do. And so when he understands the big picture and he has that skill set on top of that, it makes it special. It makes it more fun for me.
Obviously,
Willie and Hunter right now, are they both?
Oh, no, they're battling it out right now. They're doing a great job. Hunter Helms has been really, really good and just continues to grow, continues to get better. And then Billy came in a year ago, and, man, he's a talented kid that continues to get better and better, too. So they're definitely battling each and every day and, making each other better.
Obviously, Coach Elliott is a busy man up in Virginia State.
Yeah.
Heading into your first full season at the helm, is there any advice he's given you that you reached out to him about to help you out?
Really the advice was whenever he was here as a coach, when I was coaching for him. I learned a lot of things from Tony Elliott. Just, his managing style as an offensive coordinator and just his insight on a lot of different areas. He did a great job of that. But I learned that whenever I was here with him. And so we definitely have stayed in touch and have talked, just mostly catching up and small talk. But he's doing great, and I know that his future is very bright.
Can you use Will Taylor?
Man, we're going to use him in different ways. I mean, we're going to go through preseason and kind of see where he fits the mold, but he's going to come out as a slot receiver, and then we could potentially put him back there at quarterback if we need to, as some creativity there. But those would be the two spots.
It's just something you don't always have, right?
Yeah.
They can do so many.
Yeah, oh, no doubt. Anytime you got a guy that has played quarterback before and has moved to other positions, man, it gives you just more opportunity to be more creative. Heck, he might be a punter, he might be a kicker, you never know. Say that again?
How are you going to maintain this as your role? Like, this is your position that you're in charge of now. So what does that mean to you? What do you expect for that?
Yeah, I mean, just the role as offensive coordinator is an honor and privilege here at Clemson. I mean, it's the place where I came to school, my alma mater, and I've been able to be mentored in a lot of different ways, a lot of different areas. Start with Coach Swinney and Tony Elliott and Jeff Scott, and just learned a lot of different ways to lead a group. And I've done it in my past before, so I have my philosophy as well. And that philosophy changes sometimes as you go through different changes on staffs. But I'm just excited about being at my alma mater, having an opportunity to lead this group of young men, and having a great staff around me to help support me in a lot of different ways.
If you're in the Eastern Midlands and PD area and you're in any way interested in buying and selling a home, commercial property, land, need to consider reaching out to Uptown Realty. They're based out of Sumter and run by a friend of mine, Patrick Enzer, big Clemson guy, used to cover the Tigers in a newspaper capacity, longtime supporter of Tiger Illustrated, longtime listener to the Dubcast. The home buying process should be an enjoyable experience, so let Patrick and his staff do all the heavy lifting. All you got to do is pick up the phone and call 803-774-0435 or go to uptownrealtysc.com. Want to share a quick word about Founders Federal Credit Union? If you've been to a sporting event in Clemson, you've probably heard about Founders already. They are the official credit union partner of the Clemson Tigers. In addition to that, all Clemson faculty, staff, and students are eligible for membership as well as IPTAY members. Matt Gross is a proud Clemson alum and the vice president for the Clemson market for Founders Federal Credit Union. Matt's office is located beside the Walmart Neighborhood Market on Old Greenville Highway in Clemson. For more information, go to foundersfcu.com. Another loyal supporter of the Dubcast is Blackacre Law Firm in Greenville, a subsidiary of Parham Smith & Archenhold. Blackacre helps South Carolina residents achieve their dreams of home ownership by providing experienced professional representation for real estate closings. Attention to detail is crucial in real estate law. Blackacre is committed to making sure nothing gets by them preparing residential or commercial closings. Blackacre also offers estate planning services for their clients in the Greenville area. Find out more about Blackacre at 864-326-3507.
Hey man, let me sit down and fix my shirt first so my man boobs look a little better. Hey, thank you. Appreciate it.
We have Nick Eason, so go to the questions.
Hey Coach, I guess one of the main questions everyone's know right now is just the alum status update of Brian and Trey.
Brian and Trey are really have done a really tremendous job of taking care of their bodies this offseason. They're going to be, that's going to be a constant thing they're going to have to continue to work on throughout the year. They're going to have to learn how to be pros before they become pros. But right now they got to be the best Clemson Tigers they can be for themselves, and I really challenged them, as they've gotten cleared, to play. But I've challenged them to make sure that they do a good job of kind of being more proactive in terms of taking care of their bodies. That comes down to just eating right, getting plenty of rest, and spending a lot of time in the training room, just kind of being proactive. Stretching, getting in the ice tub, those things are going to be really important for them as they move forward, just to prevent those injuries. And as everybody knows, we were decimated by injury at defensive line last year, which really hurt the team a lot. So been focusing on that, just really encouraging those guys, to kind of take care of themselves like pros. Oh yeah, we're ready to rock and roll, But like I mentioned earlier, man, we got to do a good job being proactive with our bodies and stretching and doing all the things to prevent injuries, which we've had a lot of them at the defensive line position in the past. So I've challenged them to do that. They've stepped up to the challenge thus far. They're just got to be consistent throughout the season.
Is that something different than what they're used to from seasons past? I mean, what have you brought that's different, with you from all?
I think for me, just having the professional experience, I've been around a lot of great players, the Willie McGinnis, the Shannon Sharps of the world. One of those things that I've learned from being around pro guys that have played double-digit seasons and longer, man, it's all about how you take care of your body. Those guys spend a lot of time in the ice tub, spend more time trying to recover more than anything, the acupuncture, yoga, dry needling, whatever it takes, to be able to recover. And so that's how you can extend your career. And so I've taken that knowledge that I've learned, in the pros and just kind of brought it to the college level, man. Just trying to encourage guys, say, hey guys, I don't know what you think that the pros are about, but here's what I've seen and here's what I learned over the 18 years, 19 years that I was there in the league. And so I just passed on the information, and they trust me, at this point in time. So they stepped up to the challenge, and I see more guys in there working with Dr. Bina to take care of their bodies.
Can you describe just how freaky this defensive line can potentially be?
We're very talented. I think that the great teams that I've been a part of and I've played with always have depth, and I think we have some of the best depth in the country. Everybody in the room can play, and so it's talking about Brian Brzee, the Rook Ororo, Tyler Davis and Peyton Page and E.T. Rubin, Cape Hart, Trey Williams, they all bring, something to the table. And, it's a really good situation for me to be in as long as we stay healthy. But they can all do it all. Each one of them have their own set of skills that they're really good at and things they do well. And it's going to make us a really great defensive line. And if the guys put in the hard work, we'll be the best in the country. And so it's just my job to make sure that, I'm demanding but not demeaning, and I challenge those guys every day. But we have all the tools you're looking for in the defensive line, and all of our guys in the room, we have it. I think it's just going to be a challenge for us to make sure we just stay healthy. And that's the biggest thing that I'm really focusing on, as well as just continue developing the talent in the room. I really truly feel like, you're always going to be developing talent, whether you're coaching in high school, whether you're coaching on the college level, or even in the pros. It's about developing your talent that you have. But these guys have the skill set to do it, and we're just going to move forward and just continue to work.
Nick, how is Brucey coming back from injury?
He has been amazing. For me, I just actually was on the treadmill trying to lose a few pounds myself. But he was, he's been awesome. He's a tough kid. Mike Tomlin, something I learned as a Steelers, I'd rather say whoa than sick him. He's a kid that you have to say whoa because he's always going to give you 150% everything that he has. And so it's just been, for me, it's just like, hey, man, you guys a long season. I need you for all. How many of us going to take to get to the national championship? I need you in all of those. And so, but he's working really hard. He's been great. Even when he was, still going through his rehab, he was present at practice, been present in meetings, and so he's been doing a really good job of just, not only getting back but continuing to just, be more of a leader in the role that he's in.
Is he the most vocal leader you've got in your room? I know Tyler's kind of more of a soft-spoken type of guy. Lets his actions on the field do his talking.
Yeah, they all lead in their own way, but from vocally, probably more Tyler. I think my personality came in the room. They all kind of backed off and was kind of like, whoa, when I came in the room. But I would say it'd be Tyler, Root, Brazil. They all will talk. Cape Hart not so much, Peyton Payne not so much. But leadership for me is action and example. Not a position or title. So, but those probably three guys be more the vocal ones: Rook, Tyler, and Brazil.
Can you describe how this new defense, or the defense, is going to look under Coach Goodwin in comparison to what Coach Venables is doing?
Man, I just think for me, I'm going to work really, 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 really hard this year to assist Wes, be a servant to him, to help him be the best defensive coordinator in the country. I think, I know a lot of people, you may underestimate him, but hey, big surprises come in small packages. And with him standing at 4'11", I think people, I'm not going to be surprised, with the way our defense is going to look. And I think Wes is going to bring his own taste and flavor to this defense. And I'm really excited about some of the things that he's going to do. We'll just be multiple. There are a lot of things we're going to do. We have a lot of talent, and we're going to do a great job of putting guys in position to make plays. And Wes knows the talents that we have at every position on every level. He studied the game. He knows the game. And I love working with him. He reminds me of Dick LeBeau, who I was my defensive coordinator, Steelers, who I worked with when I was coaching at the Tennessee Titans. And he's going to put our guys in position to make plays. Man, I'm really, truly excited about it. Things are going to be a lot simpler, yet complicated at times when we need to be, and let our guys play fast. I think that's the difference.
He's a younger guy, relatively speaking, in coaching standards.
Yeah.
So, that speaks to a guy that's had a degree of talent, or you can kind of just see it with this guy. So, for someone who might not be in the know, just describe to me what that is like with him.
With Wes?
Yes.
Man, Wes knows, he studies the game. He loves the game. In his free time at home, he's probably drawing up plays, and I'm not just exaggerating. He knows from the back end to the front end, and he's always been like that since he stepped in this building. From just talking to Woody McCorvey and Coach Swinney, because I didn't know Wes We have a lot of mutual acquaintances from during the period of time he worked at the Arizona Cardinals out there with Bruce Arians. All those guys being from Pittsburgh, but those guys, man, spoke very highly of him. But man, he's a coach of the game. He knows it all, man. He really takes pride in what he does. He's a great family man, loves his wife and kids, and such a really good person, you know. And that matters a lot to me. Just being a good person, man. He knows how to treat people right, and he's a guy you want to work for and work with. And I'm just excited for him to have this opportunity. He deserved it, you know. I think a lot of times, people are just wondering, like, who is Wes Goodwin? But I guarantee you'll find out this season. And, we're going to, me and the rest of the support staff and assistant coaches, man, we're going to do everything in our power to make sure he succeeds by doing our part and having his back. And so with Wes, man, he's really smart. He's going to be able to make a lot of adjustments, which that's what it takes to be a defensive coordinator. You got to be willing to adjust, and he's going to be able to do that. He takes all of our opinions in consideration, and we all work together. We all have a part in this, so he's not by himself. So, man, I really love working with him. I'm very unselfish, and, he's going to have a lot of success. And players love him as well, so it's going to be great.
You walked into a room full of highly recruited guys.
Yeah.
What was it like to see guys like Eason and Rook get the development they did last year due to injury and be where they are now?
Man, it was huge. That playing time did them a lot of good. If you go back, for me, I went back and studied a lot of tape from when they first got here until last year. And speaking of those two, Rook and E.T. made huge strides just with that playing time. And so, man, just looking forward to big things coming in the last year, And that's the unique thing about the defensive line room is when you have a lot of depth, next man up. And so, for guys like Rook and E.T., this year is just going to be even better for me. The expectation is going to be higher that I push them to be better versions of themselves. Yeah.
What about keeping the guys fresh, having that rotation, the guys being able to get them
Absolutely.
fresh all year?
Absolutely. Nobody should be loafing. All right? If you do, you might be in trouble because there's enough talent in this room that the next guy may take your spot the next week. So, I love being a part of that, man. Anytime you got competition in the room, it just makes everybody better. And so, I believe guys are going to step up to the challenge. But, man, we should be fresh. Guys should be going 110 miles per hour. As long as we stay healthy, man, we can be a really dominant defensive line this year with the talent that we have in the room, the guys that are coming back, and with everybody being healthy.
What about your ends? Coach over there coaches the ends, and you guys match them up with your tackles. How much of a luxury is it to have the set of ends you got? As well as that, because when you're taking up those blocks, it's bringing those guys up.
Oh man, it's a huge luxury. I mean, you're talking about Miles and KJ and XT and Masco. Man, those are four guys who have all the tools to play at the next level, and they'll do a really good job, man. Me and Coach Ski and the defensive line, we all work together. We meet together often, and so it's all interchangeable. And with some of the things that we're bringing to the table this year, for myself and just kind of talking with Wes, man, we'll mix and move those guys around this year. So you'll see guys line up at different multiple positions, and this year from the ends being the tackles, and just really excited about it. But yeah, the talent level on the outside, man, just makes it easier. When you got dudes across the board, I mean, it's hard to kind of protect one. You got to protect four. And if you look at the, guys in the NFL, and, look at the Rams, I mean, the number of guys they got up front. And then people talk about Aaron Donald, but you also got Von Miller. You got Leonard Floyd. You got all these guys that you got to protect. And that's kind of how I see the defensive line. We have talent at every level. We have depth. Guys that can come in and start, for us. And so, for me, there's no really, first team, second team, and they all first teamers in my eyes. And it's just an honor and pleasure to be able to coach them.
Can you speak to the transformation you see Peyton over this last year?
Oh, man, Peyton Page, for me, had the most improved this spring. From where I heard that I wasn't here last year when he got here, but I heard he was almost 400 pounds. He looked like me. But, man, from the transformation he's made, coming in from last year, and some of the things that I saw on tape, just what areas that he needed to improve on. I mean, he really stepped up to the challenge. He came in, changed his body. I think he's lost about 40, 50 pounds. I mean, he looks like a different person. And he had a really good spring. He's a guy that's going to be a dominant nose tackle on the inside. moving forward, man. He has all the tools, very smart, very engaged in meetings, and I'm looking for a really kind of breakout year for him this year. But I would definitely say he's the most improved. Next up will be DeMonte Capehart, who's really coming to his own. He's somebody that's dealt with a lot of injuries as well, and so I've just really challenged him this spring to stay healthy, man. And he really went through the spring without really any major injuries and was able to go out and get reps, and he got better. He's somebody else that I'm expecting big things that are going to surprise a lot of people because he has all the tools, man. Kid's 6'5", 310 pounds, 305, man. He moves well. He just learned to just, play with great pad level and execute his technique and fundamentals. He's going to be dominant as well. So those are really two young guys, man, just really excited about that are going to be, I think, a surprise to a lot of people. Not a surprise to me, but they put in the work this offseason.
Nick, you've been recruiting other schools for a few years, so there's no new business to you. But what was it like to come here and recruit for your school? What did that add to your recruiting pitch?
Last year was my first year in college ball at Auburn. I was recently with the Cincinnati Bengals in 19 and 20, and I think a lot of people, for me, just was questioning like, well, how are you going to be able to recruit? And I laughed at that when some of the college coaches asked that, well, how are you going to be able to recruit? Well, I'm the one that's played in 2 Super Bowls. I played in the league for 11 years, and I'm from South Georgia, small town, so I know how to talk to people because everybody knows everybody where I'm from in Lyons. And so, being able to have authentic conversations with people was going to be real easy for me. But just, I just try to be my authentic self, man. This place, Clemson, will sell itself. Our facilities, so I just need to get the recruits here. Dabo will knock it out the park being who he is. He's going to talk for about 4 hours, and you'll know everything about him, the facilities, our staff, his family, and the city of Clemson, And so, and that's what make this place unique and better than any place in the country. It's the people in the building. I keep saying that, man. We have a wonderful staff, just in every department of our facility, man. And everybody here is just good people. So if I can just get a recruit on campus, everybody else do their job, and man, it makes it easy for me to recruit. So it's easy. I just really take time to allow recruits and their parents to see who I am as a person. It's easy to go on the internet. You can Google and you send the places I've been, some of the things I've done, but who really is Nick Eason? And that goes down to just, talking about my past, and all of it ain't clean, good. I didn't grow up with my dad, in the house. My mom had me, she was 18 years old, lived with my grandparents, who ended up getting their GEDs, but great people, got married. My grandmother was 14, my grandfather was 17. So people want to hear those things about who am I really as a person? Who are they going to be sending their son off to be with, to be around, to be molded as a man and as a football player for the next 3 or 4 years of their lives. And so, for me, it makes it easy, So I enjoy the recruiting process. We're not going to get everybody. I'm not going to get everybody. The kids that love what we bring to the table as Clemson, will come, and the ones that don't will go other places, depending on what we're looking for. If you're looking for a faith-based program that's going to treat you like family, that's going to develop you as a man. We have Paul Journey, which is the best in the country, and the Clemson's for you. If you're trying to, chase dollars, this ain't the place for you, and I'm okay with that. NIL has really changed the game, and kids earn it, But at the end of the day, we don't lead with that. We have NIL plans here at Clemson, but we're not going to lead with that, man. We want you to love Clemson like I loved and came here for reasons of education and the facilities and the people in this building and how we can mold you as a man, and that hasn't changed. So I'm just really excited to be a part of it.
Do you feel like you've answered the questions about if you can recruit?
Huh?
Do you feel like you've answered those questions about if you can recruit?
No, I haven't answered the recruiting. Can I recruit? No. The thing about this for me is that, recruiting is not a one-man job, and it's every day for me. And so, as I continue to get the commitments coming in, I know I got to work even harder. You know what I mean? And so I try not to read the newspaper clippings, man, and I want to make sure I remain humble and stay hungry during this process, man. I think a lot of times, people that have had success in recruiting or teams that have had success in winning get real comfortable, all right, and think they don't have to, reach out to parents and talk to the coaches, but that's got to be an everyday thing, and it's got to be real, too, at the same time. You got to love what you're doing. But for me, yeah, I think I'm starting to answer those questions if I can recruit. So, for me, it's just about being authentic, just being real, being what you are, being respectful, loving on people, being a servant to people. And that's just who I've been. That's who I've always been.
How much do you think recruits are aware of the reputation that Clemson's established over the last 7 or 8 years as kind of being DLU, all the talent that they produce and put into the league, and their rankings and defensive rankings?
Yeah, I think I think recruits and people are aware of the defensive tradition that's been here over the years. But my story has always been, I'll bring guys here on a recruiting visit. They'll come sit in my room. They'll see all the names. They'll see my name. They'll see the DJ Readers of the world. But those have been our stories. And for me, just because I, coach in the NFL and I play in the NFL and I've done this, that, and the third, doesn't mean that that's going to be you. If you put the work in, it can happen like that for you. But if you don't and you're lazy, you don't love football, then it might not happen for you. So everybody has kind of created their own story. All the great players that have came through here have created their own stories by the hard work they put in. It's just not going to happen because you choose to come here. The championships that are won here at Clemson are won when nobody's watching. And that's why our guys are here in the weight room. Coach Bass and our weight room staff are just challenging our players, man, to be great. And that's what the championships are won. And I think, people just need to realize that, especially recruits, man. You watch guys play on Sunday, but they don't see the acupuncture, the chirotherapy, the massage therapy, the twice a week with the massages and all the other things that go on behind the scenes, And so those things are what win championships, and I just think that we're gonna be great. Yep, we're gonna be great.
What kind of season do you think you're gonna have for Tyler Davis this year?
Tyler? Well, I think Tyler's gonna be great. He's got to stay healthy. But he's been truly a leader. I saw that at the workouts when we started mat drills. He's been awesome in the classroom, been awesome on the field, been awesome in the community, and I think he's going to have a very dominant year. I think some of the things that Wes is going to do and that I've kind of brought to the table is going to really cater to his skill set, and you'll see guys, elevate their level of play this year. That's my job to make sure I do that. I didn't recruit these guys in the room, and anytime you take on a new job, somebody's always inheriting somebody else's room. I'm inheriting Todd Bates' room, but it's still my job to make sure that I elevate the level of play of the players in the room. That's what it comes down to. Will these guys play better under Nick Eason? And that's what I'm looking forward to, and they will. I think they will, but it starts down for me when it comes to that about Tyler, man, and him trusting me and knowing who I am as a person, knowing that I care about him and I want them to be successful. And guys will play hard when they know you love them, so that's what's most important.
I know you were very complimentary of Wes this spring and kind of his football mind.
Yep.
What's his last week like with him, and how do you see him kind of continue to grow in his role as a coach?
Man, Wes is going to be great. He's been doing a really good job of taking the time to just kind of mold us as a family, as a staff. So he's had us over his house. Last night he had a defensive tackles at his house. He's had a defense over his house. He understands that this business is about relationships. And players don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. And so, guys will play hard for you once they know you care about them as people. And I think he's done a great job of that with our staff. Some of these guys have worked with him already. I haven't. But, man, he's made me feel welcome in his home, in the building, and just him just empowering everybody in the room and taking your ideas in consideration and really implementing that within our defense as long as it makes sense. And that's what I love about him. Not every defensive coordinator is like that. Some defensive coordinator want it their way, and that's okay too. But Wes, he just empowers everybody on the staff, and he's going to do a phenomenal job. And the biggest thing with Wes, man, he's going to be willing to adjust and make adjustments each week. I think people are going to have a hard time trying to figure out what we're doing, every week, because he's going to be willing to adjust. He knows how to adjust within the game. It could be by quarter, it could be by half. And that's what's going to set us aside and set him aside for everybody. Thank you. I had a lot of phlegm in my throat. Appreciate that. Sorry. So I think he's going to do an amazing job.
Personally, you're in the league, you coach there, you coach the Auburn. What was it like to get the offer to come here? Was it a recruitment process for you all?
You know what? It's so for me, I've kind of told the story a little bit here and there. I never expected this job to kind of come open. I really didn't. I was actually headed to grab some breakfast. I was, actually in Alabama at the time, and the call came out of nowhere. I've become a little bit more acquainted with social media, but with a little bit of Twitter here and there. But I don't really watch a lot of news. But I didn't know, when Venables left, I didn't know Todd Bates left, and so Coach, called me and just gave me an opportunity. It came out of nowhere. And for me, I care about the players that I coach. And so, that the initial conversation, I didn't really just jump on this job. As a matter of fact, I told Coach Swinney no when he initially asked me, did I want the job, just because I didn't know how my players would feel at Auburn. Those kids were like my sons. And, so for me, it wasn't a quick decision. Oh, I get to go back home, because I care about my players. And, Coach Mason had a really great relationship with him. He's one of the reasons why I ended up at Auburn. At Auburn. And of course, Coach Harsin interviewed me and gave me an opportunity to be there. But I cared about the people. I cared about people that I worked with. And so it was a decision I couldn't make on the spot. So I kind of got put on the spot by Coach Swinney with a job. And, I thought about it for a couple, for a day and a half. Like, man, I may not have this opportunity until I'm 60, because there's not a lot of change here. People stay here forever, and then once you're here, you see why. And so just, being able to come back here, man, I never received that many text messages, anything in my life. Even when I won a Super Bowl, I got more text messages, about getting this job more than anything. And during the process, Bob Mahoney works over in Ipte, his wife, I call her my mom. They're kind of like my white parents, here at Clemson. And, but I love them to death, but he called me, and then she was on the other line in the background, was like, oh, come on, Nick, what if I never see you get the coach? He's just the whining in the background, giving me the guilt trip, man. But, I prayed about it, and I asked God, I'm like, hey, if it's meant for me to take this job, then everything, the process of me talking to my players and talking to Coach Mason, will be easy, and it was. So here I am standing before you. So sitting, sorry, not standing.
Not that it's a bad problem to have, but with so much talent on the defensive line, how do you try to keep everyone engaged, keep everyone getting opportunities?
I think, with all the talent and keeping everybody engaged, I think it's really best everybody understand their role, what their role is, and everybody's going to get their time is going to come. I think some people get so afraid about when you have so much talent, you start thinking about, the guy's going to transfer, right? I don't think about that. I think the guys in the room came to Clemson for the right reasons. Because they love Clemson, they want to be here, and everybody will have their time. Opportunities will come like they did last year. Nobody expected us for us to have so many injuries as we did, but it had guys that were ready to have an opportunity to play, and they played well. And so for me, I don't be concerned about that, but everybody has a role, and you just got to be great at your role when your opportunity come, man. You got to be great, because there's so much talent in the room. So, nobody should be loafing or, taking plays off, because we're going to be 150 miles an hour. So. See, that's why I worked out this morning, to detach myself from Little Debbie, okay? Now, the box of oatmeal cream pie, I really didn't think somebody would send me a 200 oatmeal cream pies, but it really happened, which we had one box left. If you would like it up in the defensive line room, I can bring it to you. But no, I do love oatmeal cream pies and Little Debbie's, but I never thought somebody would send me 200 of them. And I knew how serious it was when I got to the ladies' clinic, and there were ladies walking up to take pictures with me with Little Debbie boxes and signing them. So I was like, man, I keep my mouth shut, next time about the Little Debbie's. But I do love oatmeal cream pies. But
do you know who sent the oatmeal cream pies?
No, did you?
No, it was not me.
Oh, okay.
I'll fight over oatmeal cream pies.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah.
Social media recruiting, we spoke about earlier. Do you think that your guitar playing skills will step out like they did when they did?
My guitar playing? Oh, man, no, it's just a little thing. Me and Chanel Valentine, our assistant director of on-campus recruiting, we used to perform when I was at Auburn. I grew up in the church, and I knew how to play the guitar, the bass guitar, the drums, piano. So it's kind of like a little hidden talent that I have, and growing up in the church. And it's worked out when it needs to work out. At Caden's story, his pastor came over. That we were on social media together, and we sung together. So when necessary, I'll bring it out. But it's not. It's kind of like not my recruiting tool. I don't show up at everybody's high school and their houses with my guitar around my neck, So, but no, it works.
Just curious, having played here, would you be sad if Clemson were to leave the ACC for another conference? Do you have any sort of feelings? Do you have ambivalent about it?
I wouldn't care if we was in the Big Ten. You know, people come to Clemson because it's Clemson. And that's what Coach Swinney said the other day. I think that resonated with me really strong. Like, people go to Clemson because of Clemson. People go to Alabama because of Alabama. You know, at these particular, you know, at Clemson, you know, it's our culture, our program, and what we offer, you know, speaks for itself. And so I don't really care what conference we in. I mean, we're still going to be Clemson, you know. And I think that, you know, it matters to some, but for us in the building, we don't care. You know, however it plays out, man. We just have to be the best version of ourselves. Still got to recruit and be Clemson, you know. So, you know, whether we're in the SEC or Big Ten or whatever, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. You know, still got to put your hand in the dirt and play ball.
Coach Austin, last question. Coach Austin was saying that Dabo's been talking about how the crazier college football gets, the better Clemson will be. Can you just kind of share some thoughts on
the better what now?
The crazier college football gets and everything gets, the better Clemson will be.
Yeah, man. We just be ourselves, man. Here, Coach has done a really good job of implementing a certain type of culture, and we're just going to be ourselves, you know. And we don't get caught up in all the changing and shenanigans, you know. We just try to, man. We're faith-based. Our foundation is built upon Christ, and we just be ourselves, man, and continue to work and just let everybody else fight with one another. And we'll just continue to sit here and work, man. I consider ourselves like the quiet storm. You know, we just sit here and work quietly and let everybody get into all the shenanigans of the craziness of college football, man. But our standard is our standard, and we are, and that's not going to change.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you, guys.
Did Nick Eason just say a quiet storm? Thank goodness he's not a quiet storm. Wow, what a fun guy to be around for several hours at this Media Day event. We will have further podcasts with some of the other coaches, so definitely stay tuned for that coming soon. Appreciate the support of our very loyal and longtime sponsors for helping making this happen. Most of all, thanks to all of you for hitting play. Everybody take care.